Hi, this is Warren Bucklider of Children's Technology Review, and today I'm looking at Snow White, the latest storybook app from Nosy.
Sewing in a room at the top of her castle when she pricked her finger.
This is a preview of the read and play mode. I'm going to show some of the strengths and weaknesses and illustrate the activities in this app.
How I wish I had a daughter, with lips as red as this blood, with skin as white as snow, and hair as black as these ebony.
A couple of things to note right off the bat. You can touch just about anything in any screen, and do things that you want to touch or work logically. Also, you can zoom in and zoom out, and you'll also make a note of the high-quality narration by children, and also the obvious high-quality illustrations.
And soon her beautiful baby girl was born. But the queen died soon after, and her husband, the king, was left to bring up the princess on his own. I shall call the baby Snow White.
Here's one of the first issues that I had with this app.
Can you help me rock Snow White to sleep?
I'm asked here to rock the baby to sleep, and it doesn't ever tell you to actually move the iPad from side to side. In addition, Snow White, as a baby here, doesn't stop crying. So it's just a very minor point, and I suspect that children would figure that out faster than I would. Beside the use of the accelerometer, this app also uses the cameras. And as the past Nosy Pro apps, your reflection appears in the mirror and also later on in the water.
My queen, don't be preoccupied. Your beauty is unqualified.
It's worth noting that there are some editorial liberties that have been taken in this retelling of Snow White, including, for the first time, the first female dwarf, which you will see later on in the story.
Snow White was as kind and gentle as she was beautiful. What stinky socks!
Now you notice Nosy Pro uses a technique that they've used in past books, in that the page forward arrow does not start or become active until you fulfill certain elements on the screen. Now you can bypass that with a double tap, but essentially it's a way to gently remind you that you have to do things on each screen that link in some way to the story before things make sense.
This lesson should be taught in school. Your face will show if you are cruel.
Are you sure? I don't believe it.
You have a vain and wicked mind, but Snow White's always good and kind.
She called
Isn't that just wonderful, the child narration and also the rhymes? Really top quality material.
This seems very wrong.
And you notice that every time you touch a character, he or she says something different. So there are a lot of surprises and there's a lot of depth to this. And despite the fact that there are about 13 different screens for each section of the story, there's a lot of ways that you can interact with each screen, and that keeps things interesting. This is another activity where you pick flowers, so there's washing socks, picking flowers, lots of ways to sort of interact with the story.
He told her to run away and never come back to the castle. The huntsman went back to the castle, leaving Snow White alone.
Hello, my name's Snow White. You seem very kind. Who could possibly abandon a young girl in the forest?
When the sun rose, Snow White found herself in front of a strange little house.
This is another area where children might need some help. It's not obvious that how you get Snow White over to the house. You actually have to sort of drag and drop her, and that's a different mechanic than has been used in other areas of the app.
Found herself inside a lovely but very messy house with no one at home. What Snow White didn't know was that the little house belonged to 7 dwarves. They spent their days deep
Another fun
underground,
activity you get to
looking for
find.
jewels in a
You
mine
help
they
each
had built.
dwarf, and there's Barbara, by the way.
Hello,
You help each dwarf and then
I'm Bill.
uncover different gems.
Hello.
And you're looking for
I'm Bernard.
red rubies.
Thank you for
And
your
you can
help.
sort them any way you like.
We work here every day.
At the end of a long day, the 7 dwarfs came home, where they found their house sparkling clean, and before long, the dwarfs found Snow White, tired out from all her hard work.
Don't talk to strangers.
Snow White lived happily with the dwarfs. As soon as the wicked queen had finished disguising herself, she formed a plan. I think I need some of that purple potion. Have a delicious cake.
It's kind of you to offer, but I'm afraid I've just brushed my teeth.
Let's pop the apple into the pot. Hello again, young lady. Have a delicious apple.
Thank you. I do like apples, and fruit is a healthy snack. That apple looks delicious.
No sooner had Snow White taken a bite of the poisoned apple than she fell down on the floor, looking as if she were dead. When the dwarfs got home, they found Snow White lying as still as a statue. Days passed and Snow White didn't wake up. The dwarfs were heartbroken. They decided to place Snow White carefully in a special glass box in the forest. One day, a prince who was walking in the forest found Snow White lying there. He thought her kind and gentle face was so lovely that he begged the dwarves to help him move her to his palace. The dwarves picked up Snow White in her glass box to take her to the prince's palace. But the box was too heavy, and it fell to the ground and shattered. The piece of poisoned apple popped out of Snow White's mouth, and she woke up. When Snow White's father found out what the wicked queen had done, he imprisoned her in the tower. I could have gotten away with it if it weren't for that pesky prince. He and Snow White fell in love and were married. They lived happily ever after. I'm so happy I met you.
It's so nice to have our friends here.
So as you can see, there is a happy ending to this fairy tale, and we especially love the ability to change the music styles, just as have been done in other Nosy Pro apps. You can see there's a lot of excellent content in this app. Good illustration, good sounds, and lots of things to explore. So you can touch the bookmark and jump